Everybody, I'm here with a quick update on the Diddy trial. Today is day 15 of testimony, and the prosecution is still presenting their case. They brought up a forensic expert to tell us that the video from that infamous night at the Intercontinental Hotel where Diddy put his hands on Cassie is real. It was not altered. Now, listen. I guess they need to bring this expert so that the defense can stop saying that someone altered the video, is not being seen in its true sequence, so forth and so on. I didn't really need the expert, if you ask me. The fact that Diddy put his hands on Cassie was more than enough. Anyway, let me share a screen. You can't dispute that that day happened. So, the defense is trying to say it was altered. Doesn't matter. It looks bad. Your client put his hands on somebody. So Diddy trial, forensic expert dissects Cassie hotel video. Sean Diddy Combs' federal edge trafficking and racketeering trial continues in New York City Wednesday morning. And the 16th day of testimony begins with the prosecution calling a forensic video expert to the stand. In terms of his qualifications, Frank says he runs a website called Legal Audio Video and has previously worked with the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, the New Jersey Bar Association, and private law and investigation firms. When asked by the prosecution this morning if he's been qualified as an expert in his field, he responded 50 times. The defense has no objection to his qualifications as an expert witness. Listen, these witnesses get paid a lot. I need to be a witness for the state, like an expert for the state. So Frank is asked how many times he worked with the Southern District of New York, the federal body prosecuting Diddy in the case, and he says 50 or 100 times. And he asks if that will influence his testimony. He points out he does 75% defense work. He says he's paid $295 per hour. What a sweet deal. I'm not going to re-show that video. I think we all probably seen it a lot of times, and it is disturbing. He asks about technical details regarding cell phone and surveillance video. The prosecuting attorney shows the infamous video of Diddy in a towel chasing Cassie down a hotel hallway from 2016. Frank says this is a video shot on an iPhone 6 at 30 frames per second. He says it doesn't appear to have been edited or otherwise tampered with. In his estimation, the video is accurate, but he says there were issues with surveillance videos. Frank says the surveillance video, which was not altered, plays at 22 frames per second. So the phone's 30 frames per second rate makes the action play faster. He says they counted the frames and used software to correct the timing. The discussion about pixelation in motion activity, Frank points out in a frame-by-frame look that the file is corrupted. He confirms he made a compilation at the prosecution's request, which is played for the court. And he says he deemed this footage accurate. He notes that he inserted a black screen to mark separate edited segments. Prosecutors introduced S videos that were under seal, recovered from Frank Black user. Diddy's pseudonym, often used for booking hotels rooms, from a device provided by Cassie. Frank confirms he was asked to enhance the audio component of the sexually explicit videos. Eddie Garcia, a security supervisor from the now defunct Intercontinental Hotel in Century City in LA, testified Tuesday about turning over the hotel security video to Diddy, allegedly in exchange for a payment made to him, his own boss, and a third security person. Garcia said his supervisor had deleted the original video from the hotel server at Diddy's request. Before the jury was seated, the defense and prosecution teams discussed procedures for the day with Judge Aron regarding exhibits to be entered. The judge asked whether a witness yet to testify, Brianna, and this is the one who was allegedly hung over the balcony by Diddy, requires the Fifth Amendment immunity order. The prosecution says yes. Brianna is reportedly a friend of Cassie, the defendant's ex-girlfriend, who provided dramatic testimony about her volatile relationship with Diddy during the first week of trial. So we'll hear the recap of what happened yesterday, and then, I'll come and I'll close out and talk to you. Let's take a listen.
In the Diddy trial, a big day because we got some answers, not all, but some answers about that Cassie beating video at the Intercontinental Hotel here in Los Angeles from 2016. Ever since this video came out just over a year ago now, the question has been how in the world this was kept quiet for 8 years at that point.
Right. It's something, it didn't even happen in their room, Charles. It's
Right.
in the hallway,
In
the
the
elevator
hallway.
bank, at a popular hotel. It didn't make any sense.
And we knew that there was hotel security that watched this video. There was a
Right.
hotel security officer who came up there and interacted with them. So how did it not get out? And the answer is a brown paper bag. I mean, a
With
brown
something
paper
in
bag
it.
filled with
Right.
$100,000. This was the testimony from Eddie Garcia, who's part of the security team, was part of the security team at the Intercontinental Hotel. And he detailed the payment that Diddy made to get the silence and to get the video. So Eddie's testimony was pretty gripping because the details of exactly who contacted him, what they said, the fact that how Diddy got involved, because initially he wasn't. But this all started, Eddie said, with Diddy's chief of staff, essentially, Christina Coram, that she contacted him and said that this video could not get out, that it would destroy Sean Combs' career if it got out. And so how do we get a copy? How do we get the copy of the video and then have it destroyed from the hard drives? And how do we essentially keep you guys happy and silent? And that's where the payment came in.
Ultimately, the answer was $100,000.
Yes. Now, Christina said, Eddie said that Christina, there was a conversation with her. It wasn't going the way Christina wanted to. And so she put Diddy on the phone to try and close the deal.
So Christina called a couple times to the security desk, and Eddie very politely kind of apologized and said, you know, you're going to have to get a subpoena or you're going to have to go through upper management. I can't really do anything about this. Eddie was 24 years old at the time and had only been working at the Intercontinental for a few months. So he was kind of new there and, you know, said he was nervous.
So imagine that. Yeah, you're a 24-year-old. And now you're talking to a member of Diddy's staff, this immense celebrity, and they're making this demand of you.
What do you do?
You understand why he's trying to push it off to someone else.
And then so after he apologized and, you know, kind of advised her what to do, she ended up showing up at the hotel, and he got a call saying that a woman is looking for you in the lobby. And that's when he said the same thing and apologized, said, I can't help you. And then later on is when he received another call and she had to bring the big guy in. And
the reality is Diddy is incredibly famous. You know, him calling is likely going to have a different impact, a different effect than somebody who this security official has no idea who they are. So you can
think
understand.
it also shows how desperate he was for this to not get out.
And ultimately, Charles,
Charles, he also Diddy said that he was intoxicated, you know, so he gave an excuse for his behavior.
I think that flies in the face of then trying to cover it up, though. I agree that might have been a helpful excuse if you were so blacked out, something happened and you didn't remember, and then a video comes out. Once you're trying to cover up the bad act, you've sort of shown your state of mind. Now, I do want to be clear, this is not bribery because these are hotel workers. They're private corporation that owns that hotel. You can buy someone's silence. You can say, I don't want this to get out. Here's money, and make an exchange of that sort. The problem is once authorities start investigating, you can't lie about what happened. That would be obstruction of justice, and that's where this thing starts to fall apart. Now, since 2016, all the way up till it comes out in 2024, he did buy himself 8 years of sort of peace from this.
It worked, at least for a period of time. And obviously that was, I think, the one, you know, you heard people talk for years, Charles, but that piece of evidence, seeing that video, that changed everything.
It absolutely changed everything. And I know what you're saying, Derek, that this isn't a crime because they didn't pay any law enforcement. This was just a deal where the hotel employees ended up signing NDAs. But Eddie broke down how that $100,000 was spread out, because, and this part does sound, even though they did not commit a crime, but it sounds like, if you've seen Goodfellas, you know that when you get money in, you got to pay up. And Eddie said that of the 100,000, he took 30,000. 50,000 went to his supervisor, a guy named Bill Madrano, and he testified that Bill is the one who actually said, "Yeah, he can get the video for $50,000." So that's what Bill got 50, Eddie took 30, and then another 20 went to another security officer named Henry Elias.
Well, the reality
Here's
is
what's fascinating. The guy in the actual video is a man named Israel Flores. You can see because security intervened during the incident. That man is now an LAPD officer and was unwilling to take money to do this. And you can sort of see maybe he had a real conscience about it, didn't want to take money to cover something up, and he became a law enforcement officer afterwards.
Right. Kudos to him. Gross to take the money, in my opinion, and to look the other way when you see clear domestic violence.
How is this significant to the federal charges if it's not necessarily a crime to pay off?
I mean, he's been accused of racketeering. Derek, tell me if I'm wrong here. If you're dispatching employees of yours to pay off security officials for to cover up domestic violence,
is that racketeering?
You're right. You're both right. This is the complication because usually the predicate acts, the underlying things of racketeering are crimes themselves. Bribery of officials, arson, other things that they have alleged, the arson of Kid Cudi's car, they're going to have to say that this is legal, but it was for an illegal purpose to cover up a crime. Right. And that's going to land with the jury because that nicety is going to be lost that actually having an NDA is an okay thing, but doing it to cover up this kind of incident is going to hit the jury hard.
Hey team, it's Malik Australia calling out of Detroit, Michigan. And after just reading more about this story, it's really sad how people sell their souls as for these victims, such as Cassie and so many other people, in a situation that money's, eventually has to come back and bite you in the butt. And it's sad how, it doesn't matter how much money it takes. These are real situations. And now you guys have to pay the consequences. Not only that, but Diddy is not the only person at fault here. It's so many other people who played a part in the situation.
That is the whole point. Whether or not Diddy, I mean, that's the racketeering part of this. Was his company there basically to help him pull off all of these illegal acts? And they're going to have to
running a corporation or a mob family.
Right. That goes to count one, which we will see how the prosecutors wrap that up if they can.
So listen, the forensic video from the video from the Intercontinental Hotel, it is what it is. The forensic expert coming up, nice payday for that expert, $2.95 an hour. I do see why the prosecution brought him in. I feel it wasn't needed because the point of the whole video is it is real because Diddy apologized, right? He apologized for that day and it happening. So whether the video was chopped up, cut up, sped up, or whatever the case may be, if I were the prosecution, I would have just showed his own apology and then we would have dead this whole situation and saved some money on this expert. I'm telling you, on both sides of the house, the prosecution and the defense, they could be doing this thing better. But those are diva thoughts, okay? Listen, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. If you are a subscriber, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the forensic expert coming in to let us know that the video is real. Anyway, hit the like button. I'll see you on the next video.